So I do have to go home later today, this evening. But I'm trying to get a couple of things done. It's not too hot. And what I just finished this morning, I couldn't shoot the process because, well, I'm not going to complain about it. You know why. What I've done is I've used some very, very cheap polypropylene line to make a fixed bridle and paint for my new dink. I don't know if I'm going to test it today. I might just throw it out there and just make sure I kind of guesstimated the length. I got about 20 feet of paint on here and a nice bridle. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm not planning on towing this thing a lot or leaving it tied up alongside the boat when I'm not here and stuff like that. So it should be fine for now. But of course, I had barely finished that when I went forward to try to clean the little bit of mud, not too much mud, off the anchor. They shut off the hose bib right here on the dock for some reason, but I got most of it off and cleaned up the deck and got the rode down into the chain locker without too much fuss. Couldn't shoot that either. Sorry about the wind. But while I was forward, I discovered something rather unpleasant. Yeah, this here chain plate is coming loose. I don't think it had nothing to do with the anchoring. I think this may have occurred from me standing on the whisker stay, which is what it supports. The bolt has not sheared. The bolt is still there. So my guess is that it's related to the punky wood sitch I had in here that I was in the middle of preparing to get some paint on here. I got penetrating epoxy in it. I've removed part of a plug, but it looks like there's more epoxy behind it. I'm going to excavate this more and see what's going on. I may, for now, even though it was really cool to have that, there's probably a washer and a nut in there. It was really cool to have that hidden away and buried. I may modify this so that I have a big old washer and the nut's going to be exposed. Maybe I'll put an acorn, a finished nut on there so I won't hurt myself or snag anything on it. But yeah, kind of blows. I'm just happy I was already doing work here and I don't have to destroy nice paint to get at it. I'm gonna work on that for a bit and then I'll show you where we're at. Well, I'm relieved that this is coming out without a fight, but this is not a good sign that it's coming out without a fight. So yeah, just pull out this massive plug of stuff. I don't think there's any wood involved here at all. This is, I don't know if it's 5200 or what it is. It was probably kind of pliable at one time. It is not anymore. This bulwark is not solid. There's a void. This is sort of inner planking. This is not the outer planking of the boat. So the nut and the washer are buried in there. There is a gap, but I can't get my fingers in there from below. I have to get a light to see what's going on here. There's like a block that has decayed a little bit. Geez. And I feel moisture. Probably from that letting go, and it's been raining the last 2 days. What do I do? I need to get a magnet to see what this is. I'm guessing it's iron. I can't even see it. I think I doubt I'll be able to get a socket on there. And if I do, it's probably not going to do me much good. I may have to cut carefully between the chain plate, cut the bolt on the outside somehow, and then try to fish this out without it just falling down and getting lodged in there. And then yeah, we're definitely going to have to, what am I going to do? It's got to bolt through this bulwark to be strong enough, no matter what I do to the wood. Anyway, yeah, it is galvanized steel. And I can't get a socket on it. It's got a lot of crud on it. I'm gonna have to try to back cut it behind the chain plate and then drive out the pieces. Managed to cut through it. No wonder I couldn't get a socket on there. That's pretty well wasted. I believe this is original. I can understand why you use galvanized. It was probably fine for many, many years. The boat is going to be 50 years old soon. The head of this carriage bolt is welded with rust to the chain plate, and I can't drive it out without bending the chain plate because I don't have a clamp deep enough to go around here. And I noticed there's a little play with only one bolt in. I can move it a little, so I think I'm gonna dig out the other one, which I believe is right here, and try to take the plate off completely, because I may have to do some wood repair from the outside, because what's going on, we got a little mix of wet rot and iron sickness going on here. It's hard to tell how much of this is the spacing block and how much of it is the outer plank. This all seemed very sound. When I first got the boat, you know, when I was prepping to paint everything out there, I poked around the chain plate and the wood felt really good, but I don't know, we'll have to see. I think this will all work a lot better when I get the chain plate off. I may have to do something major here. I may have to graft in a big old block here. Whatever I do, I am going to go with longer bolts and through bolts, and ultimately do that on the starboard side as well, because that just isn't great for the long run. He didn't through bolt, but I guess just to hide them. But yeah, this was all done after these planks were in place. He drilled the holes so they can get the washer and the nut on there, and then stuff. Anyway, whatever. I got to finish picking this out, and then I hope I can get enough of it off to actually back that nut off instead of having to cut the second bolt. I might still have to do it. Oh, come on. Oh well, so much for that. I guess this one was a little corroded too. Just a little bit. That's all right. Gotta replace them anyhow. Maybe with bronze, I don't know. Anyway, I gotta try to let this dry out, get some penetrating epoxy on it. I don't think we need to rebuild out here. We don't need to cut a huge section of this out, but I may have to make a larger opening on the inside. I may have to make a larger opening on the inside to get at this. This block is quite sound, the inner plank, but here there's a lot of mush in there. I may have to, at least this one, I guess, cut out a lozenge or something and do that. So should I do that today, make a bigger opening? I feel like maybe I should, so this can get some air. The forecast is calling for dry weather for the next few days. For what that's worth, yeah, I think I'm just going to make a rough cut here, cut it a little bit bigger. And then when I come back Sunday, see what I got to do next or something. Anyway, we see a lot of apparently the same substance that the bolts were bedded in. It looks like it was just used to ferret. The wood here, right there, it's not too bad on the outside of the plank, but I think the game plan is going to be switch to my phone, and I have no support for it, so bear with me. It might be weird. What can I drive that out with? Well, not too bad. This only has superficial rust. Let's look at the wood out there. What a shame. I had to put another coat of red in the bulwarks anyway. I see. Do I see filler? What am I looking at here? Yeah. This is somewhat awkward, as you can see. This is awkward. The rock goes pretty deep, but it seems to stop at the inner face of that outer cedar plank. I think this is, I don't know what this block was made out of. Pitch pine, maybe? I don't know. It's really stringy, so even if I cut a section out, I got a bit of a battle to get all the fibers out. This here is one of the original oak frames, and it's in good shape. I think what I'm going to have to do here is do this in layers. Measure that depth. Fit a piece in there, then a piece there. I gotta go down a little and up a little. I really don't want to make this hole any taller. And as I go, I'm gonna bed everything heavily in thickened epoxy. I may cut some more out because I see this chunk kind of wants to come away, which will actually make this simpler. I can make everything, well, I can make this part this size anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna cut some more of that away. Yeah, it's pretty punky. Actually, that could be cedar. Kind of looks like it. It's still damp. I'm gonna clean the last of the fibers out of here and then hit this with a heat gun a little bit. If I'm lucky, I won't set anything on fire. I want to try to dry this out to get something on it today. I may just begin with some penetrating epoxy in the void here before I start cutting chunks of wood and let that go overnight. I don't know for sure if it's gonna start raining tomorrow afternoon or not. I can't check the forecast because my phone decided today to become a brick, and it's Sunday, and yeah, I'm gonna have to wait till I'm gonna go home tomorrow night probably and deal with that Tuesday. When it rains, it pours. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to get halfway through this and have it start raining. I don't want to cover it with plastic because that'll just retain the moisture. There's no kind of tent or anything I could do here. It is what it is. We're working outdoors again. Yeah, and maybe if I'm lucky tomorrow before I leave, I'll have a plug in here. Plug. Also gonna probably cut a plug for that, epoxied in, and I'll re-drill that hole from the outside later. That's a lot better. And no smoke. Always a good thing. I thought I was ready. I thought I was done cutting, but I can see now that this extends up. There's a screw here, and there's a wet, mushy void on either side. I hope it doesn't go all the way up. But yeah, I'm going to cut a little more. I was hoping not to cut through the seam. I'm going to have to like reproduce that, sort of fake that somehow. It's not caulked with cotton. I'm not sure how they did it here. I think they just used some kind of more flexible adhesive between the planks, but yeah, I can't. I mean, I could drill holes up here and pour epoxy in, but I need to dry. I want to dry it out before I do anything. Maybe I could drill the holes then use heat, but there's still a lot of like fiber and stuff, and it'd be better to take the screw out and use it to hold the new block in place. I already pulled one out that came from the outside into the block. It was in good condition. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, that was, whoa. Where's the, oh, there's the screw. What is it? Oh, it's not a screw, it's a ring nail. Damn it. Continues up and up. Let's go a little bit more, boys and girls. Why not? Oh boy. Yeah, it's more the same. Wet rot. Possibly iron sickness. How am I going to get this flipping ring nail out? Oh, Jeebus. Notice how this is directly in line with the old cat heads. It is related. Because the boat sat in one position for so long, I think, let me think, she was pointed. She was turned the other way around. This was northwest. Yeah, because of the cat head, never got sun on it. Probably got leaves and snow and ice and stuff trapped behind it. And I think that has a lot to do with how this all began in the first place. Now, when I took the cat heads off, I noticed it was a little soft. I thought it was superficial. I dug some away and it seemed all right. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Oh man, we might get lucky here. Come on. Oh, not a speck of corrosion, really. You can see why normally, if these are in healthy wood, they are very, very difficult to remove. The whole deck, all the decks were done with this. The plywood is nailed to the frames with these things. I mean, to the deck beams. All right, well, good. We got the upper part of the block is sound. It's good, but it's all got to be dried out. I got to scratch some more loose crap off, vacuum again, dry it out, go mix up some epoxy, and yeah, we got like 3 hours of daylight. This might actually happen today. This is a better place to lay down. I have more room. Also get a better angle. I gotta square this up more. I was thinking, oh, you know, your freehanding is going pretty good there, buddy, but it's pretty crappy actually. But before I do that, I'm gonna dry this out. I also see from this vantage that this is not part of that big block that goes here. This is like a stanchion, sort of. I should probably remove it. I gotta take more screws out on the outside. There's more soft wood up here. Yeah, because there was a void on either side of it. I don't know. Let me dry it out, get some epoxy in there. You know what? I'm gonna square, I gotta get a straight edge. I'm gonna square this up and I'm gonna take this all the way to the cab rail. Yeah, that's the way to go. This is actually the West Marine rot repair penetrating epoxy, so I don't know what's in it besides epoxy. But this is actually more appropriate. I have some of the other stuff, but we're gonna definitely start with this. Get it into this punky wood and hope for the best. The rot went right up to the teak. This teak is actually pretty thin, this cap, and then there's this molding in front of it. I'm gonna have to cut a piece. I think I'm gonna have to start with a piece that fits up in there. Probably comes down to about here, or maybe even to here, I don't know. I mixed up way too much, just like I always do. I might take some of this below before it goes off and see about some other little areas that I've been meaning to get to. Or I could just keep spooging this in here till it's all gone. I could do that too. Well, I just finished doing that job. I couldn't really record any of it. Not that interesting anyway, and it's one of those places on the boat where unless someone's standing behind me holding it, there's really nowhere to put the camera where you can see what the hell's going on. But it went okay. I thought I had scraps of cedar on the boat. I did not. I thought I had scraps at home. I don't. All I have is one big piece that I should hang on to for planking, should the need arise. Knock wood, knock cedar, that it doesn't. But so I used some more of that locust that I had on the boat. Should be good enough. I don't think there's going to be any problems with it interplaying with the cedar. It's all bedded in adhesive. So we'll see how well it fares up. If it doesn't fare up very well, I don't care. I just want it to be strong. I had a fancy idea of using the one good hole to drive a long bolt and clamp everything in place, but the way it fit in there, I didn't need to clamp it. It's going to be fine. And so I just have to finish that. I gotta let it cure for a few days. I gotta go away for at least a week anyhow. I'm gonna finish that in a week or so. I'm just gonna let it cure. I just finished when it started raining. It's just starting little drops here and there, but I just finished taping some plastic on the inside of the bulwark just to keep, in case it gets heavy, to keep that rain from sloughing off the the fresh epoxy and getting in the one sort of naked hole that we still have. I didn't get around to plugging that yet, the forward hole that I plan to plug and re-drill. I can do that later. I'm just glad I got that done, so there isn't a hole in the freaking bulwark that can just collect rainwater. Yeah, pretty awesome. I might take a nap or something. I'm gonna just hang around here till at least after the evening traffic horror, if not till dark. There's not much I can do except sleep. I might try to read a little bit. It's weird to not have my phone or any connectivity. It's kind of cool. It's been about 24 hours now, and my brain feels different. It's really weird. But yeah, I gotta do something about that phone. Anyway, that's it for now. I might get started with the forward hatch project at home. I gotta really dig through my lumber stock and see what I got that's appropriate, and maybe get started with that, in which case I will be recording that. Yep, it's coming down out there. I'm so happy I got that finished when I did. It literally, to the moment. Before I covered it, I realized I still have my compound miter saw on deck. I wanted to bring that home, so I had to gather that up, leap onto the dock with it, and run back to my van and stow it. And just as I finished the little plastic covering project, the first drops started coming down. I don't know how much we're gonna get. I don't really care. The boat is gonna be okay. I would really love to wait until it kind of stops to drive all the way home, 140 miles damn near. I don't know how long it's supposed to last because I have no way of getting a forecast. Maybe, well, no, the marine radio isn't gonna tell me about conditions between here and home. Ooh, I just remembered I have a couple more beers. They're still pretty cold. Oh, that'll help pass the time away. Another must in the slowly sailing library is this book, Tom Cunliffe's Hand, Reef, and Steer, Traditional Sailing Skills for Classic Boats. He goes on and on, as he does, about gaffers, how they work, something about their history, how to handle them, the varieties of them, the illustrations. I like the watercolor illustrations. They're really, really pretty. There's some great photos, too. Yeah, I highly recommend. I think I got this off Amazon. I don't think it's in print or something. For some reason, I wound up getting a decommissioned library book edition of it. Maybe that was just the best price. It was in great shape. It tells you a lot of basics that apply to any sailing boat, interpreting weather, everything. It's pretty much Tom Cunliffe downloading his sailor's brain after 60, 70 years of all kinds of sailing, including cruising. I can't remember her name. I don't think he's sailing her anymore. I think he's got a newer boat, but he and his wife sailed that thing all over the world in the 60s and 70s. Just the two of them. And survived all kinds of crazy situations. He doesn't talk much about that. I believe he's written about that, but this is, yeah. I was talking to my friend Matt of the Saving Maverick YouTube channel. He's got a 32-foot wooden Tahiti. I guess you'd call it a Tahiti 2 or a Tahitiana that he's restoring. And I recommended him that he get this book. I think he knew about it already, but get this book, Matt, and all of you who are, if you're just interested in gaff rigs, or if you want to learn a little bit more about the old-timey fundamentals of how to anchor on sail and dealing with current, different tide and wind situations. Great book. The best part about it is you can hear his voice when you're reading it. It's hilarious. I can listen to that guy talk all day. I've been sitting here just killing time, reading through Tom Cunliffe's book again. And I came back across the part where he talks about the Laurent Giles forestay. I might try to look up more info on Laurent Giles and the ship, the boat diarchy that he designed it for. This could be something I want to do. My boat was designed to carry this sort of forward rig, right? You've got a top mast. This is all very crudely drawn, not to scale. Proportions are all wrong. This is the main mast, and this is a top mast, right? A running top mast that can theoretically go up and down, although you wouldn't ordinarily do that. There's an inner forestay, which I've rebuilt. It's fixed. It's got turnbuckles. It's made of Polytex. That is probably adequate in and of itself to support the mast and everything up here from forces trying to pull it back. And I also rigged a permanent stay of the same stuff from its own stirrup a little bit higher to the end of the bowsprit, where I have a single cranks iron and not a lot of room for other stuff. So I can have the idea, and then I was going to thought I would have to rig a permanent stay from the top of the topmast to about the same point on the bowsprit to support a topsail jib or a flying jib. There's also a Yankee, which some people would call a topsail jib, etc., etc. The big problem with this is that, as you can see, this topsail jib or flying, I like to call it a flying jib because it sounds cool. It's meant to be hauled pretty much up to the mast. So to provide tension for the tack, there would have to be a separate halyard for it that goes to a block here, and that downhaul would be led aft. There's a cheek block mounted on the deck about here, and there's pad eyes to mount turning blocks. So I'm assuming this was not rigged. The top mast was in place when I got the boat, but this was not rigged. So it was a bit of a mystery, and the previous seller had never rigged it, really, not properly anyway. So there was a bit of a mystery how all this was supposed to work. And I was looking at significant crowding here, and also having to have blocks and another line laid on the deck. I would have it fixed here. It would be fixed here. Then there'd be a separate halyard and a downhaul, and they would be attached to the sail with shackles or snap hooks, and then the sail gets hanged onto that fixed stay. I wind up having another line led aft on the deck that would have to be turned with a couple of different blocks. Another problem with this is that if I want to hang this sail on or remove it, I have to go out on the bowsprit. I already will have to do that to deal with the Yankee, but that's only because its clew is going to be permanently attached to the down near the bowsprit. But in the case of both sails, I can compensate for that a little bit. If I ease the halyard, at least it comes down. But it's hard. You can't really pull it back. Raising and lowering it, I can control it with the sheet, but I can't hank it on and remove it, or even dress it properly, even temporarily on the bowsprit, so it's not flopping all over the place. This could be very problematic underway. And also, I've already don't really have enough real estate to do this on the end of the sprit. I'd have to get a different cranks iron or something like that. I can't start going back because the top mast stay has to be, and anything rigging associated with this sail has to be forward of this. So I've been scratching my head over it for a while, but I forgot about the Laurent Giles thing. Let me show you how that might work on my boat. The whole point of the Laurent Giles is it eliminates a line led aft. Let's say this is the top mast again. I'd have one end of this thing attached to the topmast. It runs down through a block at the end of the sprit, comes up, it's attached to the it's attached to the tack of the sail. Then there's a halyard, just like before, attached to the tack, the top of the sail, and it would be hanged on like that. Highly exaggerated. The other very good thing about the Giles setup is that in order to bring the sail on deck, all I had to do is release the halyard and pull the sheets, because the stay itself is running. I could even do this for the Yankee and the flying jib, perhaps with a double block on the end of the bowsprit to make everything even simpler and tidier. I would probably use snap hooks to connect the lines to the tack and the head of the sails, in which case, when I'm not using the sails, I can just connect them to each other, and that should create an adequate forward stay. It's going to be a while before I reinstall the topmast, but in the meantime, at some point soon, I might actually try changing the forward stay that I have now from the main mast to the bowsprit to this sort of setup to see if I like it.